Welcome back. Episode 61 of the Love and Light podcast, powered by 103.9 WDKX. I am Willie Lightfoot.
And I am Lovely Warren.
And we are so excited about the conversation that we're having today. Technology, family, is everywhere. It's in our homes, it's in our cars, and now it's in our streets. Today we're asking real questions. When tools like flock camera and AI show up in our neighborhoods, are they protecting us? Or are they watching us? And who decides the difference? Today's show will be safety of surveillance, the debate around flock and AI tools.
Listen, I have been watching this flock stuff, right? And I didn't even realize that Rochester has all these flock cameras, right?
Yes.
Rochester, Buffalo, like they are everywhere, right? And so you know how when you're on... we were watching TV and movies and, they track people and do all this stuff.
Yes.
Never really imagined that it would really be here.
Right.
Reality in your community right now, today.
Yes.
And the one thing that I was really floored by is that it's here and we really heard nothing about it. Like nothing about it being installed. What are they tracking? All of that. And so truly, is it safety or are we under surveillance?
Well, we're going to break it all down today. We're going to talk about the benefits, the risks, the accountability of what that comes with these tools and what they're doing and how they're watching us as the public. But before we do that, we always have a love lifting segment where we lift up something or somebody or something or a organization or whatever that we love. And what we lifting up today, Lovely?
We are lifting up people who show up.
Yes.
Right? So what do we mean by that? Right? So at times you could be doing anything in the world. You could be going shopping, watching your kids, going to dinner, but there are consistent people that show up to meetings, whether that's a gospel meeting or a community meeting or a city council meeting or a city school district meeting.
Right.
It is those individuals that consistently put themselves to the side or what they want to do to show up and be a part of the change that they want to see. And so we want to recognize those people. You know who you are.
You do.
So, we don't need to call out different names, different organizations, different groups. There's a lot of things that we call on people for in our community. There's a lot of different community meetings, discussions, and all of that. But, sometimes, 5 people show up.
Yeah.
Sometimes 100 people show up. But there are some people that consistently show up.
When we talk about both of us coming from city government.
Right.
So we know all of those speak to council sessions. For 8 years, for speak to council sessions, there are some individuals who are there early and who are there every single month, and they're passionate about whatever issues that are on the table, and not just the issues that they're passionate about. They also come to hear and to voice their concerns and exercise their rights on all issues that may be before us. So we see y'all, we know you guys are there, and we lift you guys up. Today.
we definitely appreciate you.
Yeah,
right.
Indeed.
And so.
Even if we're not on the same side of the issue sometimes. But how many know we need those individuals sometimes that kind of speak truth to power or push us to look deeper into decisions that we're making, like these decisions of having these surveillance cameras, this AI, these flock cameras and things of that nature. These are decisions that people have made, and we're going to break it down today as to what are these tools? What are they really, Lovely? What are they?
So, we often talk about cameras, and everybody has them. We all have them on our house, right? So whether you have Blink or you have the Ring camera or something of that nature, a lot of times we are protecting our assets, from when people ring the doorbell, making sure that it's somebody that you want to invite in, or sometimes people are stealing packages, whatever it is, right? So now there are these other devices that are on all over our community that are license plate readers. They can track where your car has been, right? They can pinpoint, at times see in the car to see who's driving. So
facial recognition.
Car
recognition. They don't even have to. The AI component of it is even identifying scratches, dents, colors, make, model of the car. So even the flock cameras we're referring to right now are typically licensed readers, but it can go far beyond that to where they can literally track the make, the model, where the dent is on the car, and all of these types of things.
And all of that stuff is stored where? Like, so they've tracked all this information. They have all this information, and they store it in the cloud.
They store it in the cloud.
They upload it to this big database, and they keep this information about you, about your car, about where it's been, where, how many times it's gone to a specific location, all those different things. And, I don't know if there ever really was a discussion about it.
I don't know if there's ever, I would say on council, I do remember us having conversations about it, and it was controversial. There were some individuals who didn't want them, and there was some who did. I'm gonna say for myself, I was for us making sure that we protect victims of crimes. And at that time, when this stuff came before us, and we had some conversations, very small conversations about not really understanding the depth of the technology, because it's advanced even since those conversations. But we had a large stolen car situation going on, not only with the Kia situation, the Kia boys, all over the country that was happening. And so that it was presented as a way of helping deter stolen vehicles. And so, but since the AI piece has taken apart, and that's really the piece I think that's more controversial in this conversation. I don't think people have a problem, because we already have cameras, and speaking to you with the red light cameras, and we'll get into that in a little while, is about the accountability piece and the fairness piece and the equity piece. Some people are saying, like, I don't have a problem with cameras in certain areas, traffic cameras out on the highways, things of that nature. When we go through a toll booth, that camera is taking a picture of you, and so that you can pay your tolls and things of that nature. But when we add the AI component to things, facial recognition, recognizing not just your license plate, but the make and model, and tracking you and things of that nature, that's when I think people get real nervous.
I get that, but our phones track us anyways.
That's true.
Right? So it may not be the facial recognition portion of it, right? But literally, you're carrying your phone. Your phone is tracking you. It's listening to what you're talking about, right? And so it's feeding you information based on the things that you're talking about, the things that places that you've gone and you've been, right? So there's technology called geofencing, where you go to Nike store or the outlet, and they're like, oh, she's looking for items, she's looking for clothes, so therefore I'm going to feed that to her. When she opens up Facebook, I'm gonna feed her clothing ads and other things like that. The same thing, like with anything. It could be food, it could be going to a show, or I'm taking a trip, and it will feed you what you're looking for. And so I guess I understand people's apprehension about the cameras. I understand people's thought process about, this tracking data and this facial recognition and all of that stuff. I just think that we need to have a larger discussion about, okay, what is this information going to be used for? Why do you want it? Right? Why is it necessary for you to have this data to keep the public safe? From crime, from, stolen vehicles, from things like that. And if that's the case, how far is this technology going to go when it comes down to that? Because it seems like it's going even further.
So is it really about what I hear you saying, is it really about safety or is it about surveillance? And that's where it becomes a deeper conversation. Also, I think, and we can draw to past experiences that we've even had here locally, when people also are concerned about, okay, the equity in it, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, it's one thing, okay, you're going to have these cameras, but you're only putting them in certain neighborhoods.
Right.
You're only putting them in neighborhoods of color or underserved neighborhoods and things of that nature. And we had these issues. You had to deal with them. Myself had to deal with these issues when you first became mayor, about the red light cameras that were up. And we're having conversations. People are having conversations about bringing that back now.
Right.
And there was a big disparity or lack of equality when it came to those cameras, because they were being placed only in inner city communities, and they weren't being placed in the suburbs.
Yeah, and with this particular flock camera, right, you can actually, like there's a website where you can go and actually see where these cameras are placed, what corners they're placed on in different communities, how many of them. There's over, I believe, 150 of them here in Rochester or in the Monroe County area. There's over 300 and something in Buffalo. So these cameras are here. You can, you can look and find out exactly where they are. I think that the big thing is, as you said, is it surveillance or is it protection? And then, is there going to be an accountability piece that comes with that? And I think that was what the red light camera issue was. It was about, okay, well, I'm being held accountable. I'm possibly being held accountable for something that I didn't do. Right.
Yeah.
And so if somebody utilizes my car for unsavory activities, right? Am I going to be eventually held accountable for that because they have my vehicle? There's just so many things that we need to discuss.
Yes. And I think that's what we're doing. We're trying to start that conversation. First of all, a lot of people maybe not even know about these flock cameras. And then as I was doing my little research around it, I also discovered and saw where people was like, you'll be very surprised at like who's paying for these cameras. Where did the funding, and it sounds like it's multi-billion-dollar industry that's from the Silicon Valley. It came out of, major multi-millionaire investors who are investing in these cameras, investing in this technology, and who are making all kinds of money off of this. And again, where is this data being used for? That brings out concern. What neighborhoods is it being placed in? That brings out concern. Is it stuff that we don't understand? Brings about fear, brings out concern. And I think, these conversations, we have to, and the accountability or the transparency piece of, are we going to be told when they're used, what they're used for?
Is the data going to be sold?
Is the data going to be sold? Is the data open to the public?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, what are all the intricate details behind these cameras? And I think that's, what a lot of people have questions about.
I mean, and and legitimately so, right? It is, people have concerns because data and information is worth money, right? So when you think about the number of times telemarketers call your cell phone, call your home, oh, you've been approved for this, or I have a vehicle, all of this data that, are you selling my data?
Right.
So you collected all this information about me, right? Are you now selling it to somebody that wants to now prey on me? Or I really feel bad for our senior citizens. We've done something, like we've talked about this before, where seniors are taken advantage of. They lose their entire 401k and other things because people gather and have bought information about them and they have no idea what's going on.
And, and when you bring out that point, I'm also thinking about, from the beginning, we were talking about safety or surveillance, or in this case, safety, surveillance, or profit, right? Because that's the other end of it. Right. If you're just using to sell my stuff for profit. But then when we go back to the original cause of what is being presented for, people saying mostly public safety, then okay, well, when you add the AI element as well, what does that do? Because that's also part of the way that they're getting over on anyone, but especially seniors, because they're using AI to clone people's voices, all of this kind of stuff. Well, what does it do on the public safety side of, is the AI going to reinforce biases when it comes to traffic stops, when it comes to tracking various activities in various neighborhoods and cars and profiling? Will AI just reinforce profiling and biases as well too? So these are all things, like we want to know, like who's paying for it? What does it cost? Where's stuff being stored? What are you doing with my data? Are you selling my stuff? Who are you tracking? How is it tracking? Can we trust that AI is not reinforcing biases and profiling and all of these things that we know the human element brings into place? So it's a lot of questions.
There are way too many questions that need to be answered. And my thing is, like, I think that I'm pretty well informed around a lot of things, right? But I had no clue that we had so many of these flock cameras here, right? I really, had to go to the website, and it's funny because that we're talking about this, because my husband had sent this information too, and he was like, "Did you know about this?" And it's like, wow, we have this technology. It's being utilized here. I'm not sure if there was a broader community discussion about it, but if there was, okay, tell me.
Right.
What are you doing with my data? Where is it being stored? How easily is it accessed? Especially when you think about facial recognition stuff, right? Because now we look at our phones recognize our face, right?
The airport. When you go through the airport,
right.
they're look in the camera.
Yeah. Yep.
So if you ever travel through TSA, they have your facial recognition.
Yeah. It's on some scales, it's very scary.
It's very scary. It really is, and it's replacing this AI. Is they saying that how this thing is evolving so quickly that at some point a lot of jobs also are being lost.
And that's why young people need to definitely think about
technology,
what career they're going to go into, because technology is taking over so many different aspects of life, right? So
I just hope they don't create AI barbers. I hope AI can't. And the AI lawyers.
Listen, you see how AI give you an extra finger and an extra nose. So I think people gonna want the barber, the real barber.
And I hope they want a real lawyer to show up too.
Oh yeah, listen. But did you see that movie where it was a movie that came out recently? I can't even remember the name of it, but it was like a court, an AI court, and you had like 3 hours to convince this court that you were innocent or you get sentenced to death or something like that. It was like insane. So I mean, I don't know, right? We don't know what's going to happen. I just hope that as we as a community start to move technology forward, because it's happening, right? It's not something that you are going to stop,
right?
But do it in a way where it protects and it does good and doesn't do harm.
Love and Light Podcast, episode 61. We like to hear your comments. Put them in the chat. Comment and let us know what you think about this. Did you even know about these cameras, that they existed? These flock cameras. Take a look at the website. Go on the website. Take a look at them. We're talking about safety or surveillance, the debate around flock and AI tools, technology. Anything can be used for negative. Technology also can be used for good. We're hoping that as we have and continue having these conversations around technology, that we learn and educate ourselves so that we can best know how this benefits us. And when it doesn't, those love lifting segments of people we lifted up earlier, where those advocates, we all can become that as well.
Right.
And become those advocates to say, hey, wait a minute, whether it's government, whether it's private industry, because in this case, this is private industry, from my understanding. A lot of these cameras.
But government is allowing it.
Right.
I mean, they have to put it on government tools, right?
Yeah.
So they can't just place a camera on a light post that belongs to the government, right? So government has to approve those technologies being utilized.
But they don't own it. The government is leasing these so we have to hold our individuals accountable for, and then another conversation, we ain't got time to get into it, but since we're talking about technology, we're hearing about these data centers too that people are pushing back against, which I don't know a lot about, but I noticed that a lot of people have issues. We talking about where's the data being stored. Then I'm constantly hearing on TV about these data centers is a big conversation politically. It's a political hot potato, if you will, that we see happening locally and across our country. So we're going to have to come back and have a second part conversation about that as well, since we know that we have these cameras, we know they're using this stuff, we know some of the pros and cons, but then one of the biggest thing is, where is this data being stored, and how does that impact each and every one of us as citizens?
This is 11 Light Podcast, powered by 103.9 WDKX. We encourage you to stay informed.
Yes.
At the 11 Light Podcast, these are the things that we talk about, trying to make sure that you get the information that you need so that you make an informed decision. And I am telling you, come November, if you don't do anything else, you need to vote. So we're gonna revisit that again.
Yes, we are.
Because I've been looking at these primaries across the country that has been happening the last couple of weeks, and it's just scary.
And the voter numbers, the voter turnout registration and voter turnout rates have been ridiculously low. So we definitely got to have that conversation.
We're gonna revisit it again.
Till we see you again, God bless you and peace.